On Fridays, for those of you who haven't joined us before, we celebrate our public safety employees. We celebrate the great employees at the city of Albuquerque. Talk to the public about what you're doing in our communities. And today we also have a Good Samaritan Award that we're giving, and we're also signing some really important legislation today on two of our key initiatives that revolve around women's pay equity and human trafficking. So we're going to do all of that today. So it's a great day in Albuquerque to celebrate those that are out there serving the public. Today's Friday's heroes are from the Albuquerque Fire Department, and these gentlemen are with the department's academy staff and paramedic staff. Today with us we have driver Ted Ortiz, driver Joe Candell, driver John McGee, driver Jason Hackett, and Lieutenant Kevin O'Brien. And we're recognizing these gentlemen for saving a man's life when he collapsed and had a cardiac arrest while he was at the Fire Academy lobby. This gentleman was here from out of town, and he was taking some training classes on public safety. He's a public employee from another city, and he was at the Fire Academy taking some public safety training, not related to being a firefighter. And here's what happened. It was the morning of September 25th, and it was a day like any other day at the Fire Academy, and students were coming and going from the classes that they attend, when suddenly a man who was attending a class collapsed in the middle of the lobby. Academy staff and paramedics instantly reacted and jumped into action. They found that the man had stopped breathing and had no heartbeat. Following protocol, they immediately called 911, which is good news because you're basically right there, and started CPR on the man who at this point in time was unconscious. They then proceeded to administer life-saving drugs, oxygen, and effective compressions until the man regained his pulse and was able to communicate to the firefighters by shaking his head. The man was then transported to UNM Hospital, where he remained there for 3 days, at which point he was released, and he survived. And it was because of the quick actions of the Albuquerque Fire Department Academy staff, firefighters, and the paramedics that this man's life was saved. And we talk about this all the time. We've had Friday's Heroes now for 4 years, and we hear story after story about the Albuquerque Fire Department on duty, off duty, doing things out in the community that are beyond the call of duty, doing their job and doing it extremely well, as I say consistently, and I just said it again at our graduation class from the Fire Academy last week. We have the finest fire department in the country. These folks are out there doing great things. And this gentleman that was visiting Albuquerque, trying to do good things for his community and make sure that his community was safer, actually saw firsthand what it's like when something bad happens, unfortunately, and you've got the Albuquerque Fire Department there at the rescue. I think he was lucky that he was at the Fire Academy and these gentlemen were there on standby and ready to go. With that, I'm going to have Chief Breen say a few comments, tell you a little bit more about the incident, and then we're going to hand out our Friday's Heroes coins to these gentlemen. Chief Breen.
Thank you, sir. Just a couple of comments. And the bottom line here, if you're going to have a sudden cardiac arrest event, it's always good to be in the presence of an Albuquerque firefighter because they know what to do. They're going to do the right thing and they're going to save lives. And this works because of the chain of survival was intact here. And that's where there's an immediate recognition of a cardiac arrest. The 911 system is accessed immediately. Early CPR begins with chest compressions. That's why it's so important for the members of our community to know CPR so they can maintain that chain of survival until that we can get there. There's rapid defibrillation followed by paramedic interventions and of course being transported to the hospital for definitive care. And that's why this works. And we have great people that do great things every day, and these gentlemen before us today, they're just examples of the men and women that work for us and what they're capable of. And so it's our honor to recognize them today for the great work that they did on this day and every day in this city.
Thanks, Chief. And we have Chief Breen, early on in our administration, crafted these coins. They're Friday's Heroes coins, and we give these to our firefighters for really doing exceptional work. And guys, we really appreciate what you're doing out there on a day-to-day basis. And you know, we live in a great community, and you have a lot to do with that. Now, I do want to reiterate what Chief said too. You know, Dr. Barry Ramo, for example, has a program where he teaches the community CPR. American Red Cross has a great program where you can learn CPR. My son's involved in scouting; they learn CPR there. So we would like everybody in the community to also think about yourself and your family, and maybe if you haven't had an opportunity to be trained in CPR, find out, reach out. You can call 311 if you like. We'll get you in touch with somebody that can teach you the correct procedures. And CPR procedures have changed. It used to be 2 breaths, 15 compressions, and then it's all compressions, and then it's you hear all the stories about what the latest and greatest is for CPR. But we can teach you as a community as well. So, gentlemen, we appreciate you very much.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for all that you do in our community, and say thanks to your families too when you see them. We know you're out there working hard, and a lot of these time is time away from the family as well. But we appreciate you very much, and thank you. Thank you, sir. Thanks, sir. Appreciate it. Thanks. Chief, there's one for you, buddy.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks a lot. Let's give a round of applause again. Thanks a lot. Stick around. We'll do a photograph here in a little bit. All right, let's move on to our employees of the week. Raul and Barbara, come on up. Ronnie, I'd like you to come up too if you were willing to do it.
Here?
Right next to the mayor.
Right
On the
next-
other side.
On the other side?
yeah, I'll
Okay.
do that.
All right.
Come over here, Ronnie.
Okay.
Well, if you've ever been to an Isotopes game, you know who Ronnie Davison is. You may not know him by name, but you'll recognize him as third base, I think, third base line, isn't it?
Right.
Yeah, and he's been an institution. I think you were at you've been at the first games from 1972?
Somewhere to
1972 on. This guy's a diehard Isotopes fan. And today we're honoring 2 of our ABQ ride employees that actually we think helped save Ronnie's life. And we're going to tell you that story right now. Raul Aguirre and Barbara Turner are with us today, and they were instrumental in making sure that one of our local icons, Albuquerque icons, Ronnie Davison's life was well looked after. And here's what happened. In the early morning or the early evening hours of September 19th, in 2013, Ronnie, who was a frequent rider with our Albuquerque Sun Van program, which is a really great program, was dropped off at a local restaurant for dinner. But when driver Raul Aguirre picked Ronnie up to take him back home, he could tell that something wasn't quite right. Ronnie appeared a little bit confused, didn't recognize where he was, and he didn't respond to his name or some of the questions that Raul was asking. And of course, I imagine that you've known Ronnie it's not the first time you met Ronnie.
Right.
Finding Ronnie's behavior concerning when they arrived at Ronnie's apartment, Raul remembered that he had heard him speak recently of having a medical condition, suffering a stroke. Raul then contacted Barbara Turner, an ABQ ride dispatcher, to get help for Ronnie. Barbara tried to call the emergency contact numbers on file for Ronnie, but didn't have any success getting through to any of those contacts. She then instructed Raul to knock on Ronnie's apartment door, hoping someone might be there. After there was no answer from inside, Barbara called 911. Within minutes, an ambulance came and transported Ronnie to the hospital. It was determined that he had suffered had a medical incident while he was at dinner. And if it wasn't for Raul and Barbara, we may not have an icon at the games like we want to make sure we have for many, many years to come. And it was their attention to detail, their attention to protocol, proper protocol, and extra care that really helped save Ronnie's life. So I want to thank these 2 ABQ ride employees again, and let them know that the Sun Van program is so important to people around the community. As a mayor, I hear about the Sun Van program on a regular basis, and people really rely on that, and I know Ronnie does as well. And of course, once again, I talked about Ronnie. He's been a fixture at the Deuce game for many, many seasons, mostly sitting on the third base line. He's known for his trademark of sorts. He's got a baseball bat. He's got Bugs Bunny. Is that because Bugs Bunny turned left in Albuquerque?
yeah,
Is that what it is? And the doll is usually dressed up in an Isotopes uniform during the 7th inning stretch when the PA system starts blaring the YMCA
I'm always
song.
in makeup too.
Exactly, yeah. Ronnie becomes an attraction when he starts waving the bat and Bugs Bunny doll up and down. So this is, it's just a great story about our community, about great city employees, about those who add color and character to our city. So we're very, very pleased that it turned out the way that it did. And with that, I want to have Bruce Rosieri come up and to say just a few words about the situation, and then we've got some certificates for our folks here today as well.
Well, thank you, Mayor.
Sure.
As the mayor mentioned, one of the great aspects of the Sun Van service is that the drivers and dispatchers get to know our riders. And when they sense that something isn't quite right, they have the ability to talk to the riders, to follow up, and then call 911, fire paramedics for any follow-up actions. So just another great example of these and city employees doing a great job for our community. Thanks.
Thanks, Bruce. So what we do for our employees of the week is we have an Employee of the Week mug. that we will give each of our employees. There you go, Barbara and Raul, thank you so much. We also have let me see which one is which. We also have an Employee of the Week certification and a letter for your personnel file as well. So we have one of those for each of you. And do we have an extra mug for Ronnie? Can we get we're gonna get Ronnie a drink coffee at all?
Yeah.
All right, buddy. We'll take care of you.
I'll put something in it.
Yeah, so we won't go down that road, but we appreciate you very much anyway. Thanks so much, Ronnie, for being a great icon for our city. Look forward to seeing you out the Isotopes next year.
Thank you.
All right, thanks a lot, everybody. We appreciate it. So we've got more, even more today. Let's bring our Good Samaritans up. Billy and Sanaya, would you come up? Do we have somebody maybe grab another mug? Okay, good, thanks. Well, sometimes there's family here too, I think, isn't there?
Yeah, my wife.
Yeah, come on up. Let me, let's see here. All righty. Well, sometimes, as you know, if you've been a regular at Friday's Heroes and Employee of the Week, we will actually do citizen awards, and we're going to do that today again. And we have a Good Samaritan Award today for you by Billy or William mostly.
Billy.
Yeah, that's the way I know you. So Billy Gallegos and his daughter Shania Gallegos, who's here with us today, because they did a very good thing in our community, and they're getting today's Good Samaritan honor. When Billy and Shania took it upon themselves to aid some children who were running into traffic in the city of Albuquerque. Were you just driving around, or were you?
She was registering at CNM.
Oh, you were registering at CNM. So they were out in the community, and they saw some children who were running into traffic, and that they found out that there was a much more serious issue going on, and they were pivotal factors in returning the children to safety. This past August, Billy was passing an apartment complex in the Northeast Heights when he noticed 3 small children at the side of the road near a very busy intersection. The children were unaccompanied and were stepping on and off of the sidewalk and into the roadway. Seeing the danger that these young children were in, Billy immediately pulled into the parking lot of the apartment, and he approached the children, hoping to get them out of harm's way, who he estimated to be the ages of maybe, year and a half to 3 years old. One of the children was not wearing shoes and was screaming in pain because the asphalt was hot. I mean, it was a hot day, and so when Billy asked the children where their parents were, the 2 siblings, probably did the right thing. Stranger danger. They went and ran off. So Billy followed the running children up to an apartment where he found the door open to the apartment. As the young girl ran inside, another baby, approximately 1 year old, came out of the apartment in tears. At this point, Billy called 911. And he called into the apartment, seeing if he could get a response. Receiving no response, he knew something that must be wrong. And while he was waiting for the responders to arrive, Billy was joined on the scene by his daughter, Shania, who was registering. You're seeing him?
Yeah.
Way to go. Who was in the area and seen her father's vehicle when she passed the parking lot. Shania demonstrated the sense of duty that her father possessed as a family trait, and helped by following the young girl who had now run out of the apartment and was dashing between the buildings. Billy and Shania kept the children under a watchful eye and safe until the police arrived. And when responding officers entered the apartment, they found a man, who I assume was the caretaker, was unresponsive inside of the apartment. There were no other adults in the apartment at the time. So Billy is a very, very modest person by nature, and he feels strongly that he just did what any other citizen would do. However, not everybody would do that. And so we want to honor them today. And their actions, I think, really made a difference in these kids' lives. And you think about what may have happened in that circumstance, and it could have been very bad. So we're very, very thankful. And this is what being good neighbors is about. And the good news about Albuquerque, and I say it all the time, is we've got many, many great folks in our city. We've got great neighborhoods, we've got great people, big hearts, and we watch out for each other. And so much of what we do as a community revolves around that basic fundamental of looking out for each other and taking care of each other. And the fact that we have a generational passing down of that ethic, I think, is one of the great stories for today. So obviously you learned it somewhere, right?
Yeah.
Yeah? And that's great. So I want to have Mary Lou Leonard come and say a couple of words for us as well. And then we have some certificates and some mugs as well.
Thank you, Mayor. I think you've heard this story, and I think the only thing I can add to that is that I've known Billy and his family for a very long time, and they have always demonstrated a strong sense of community and leadership, and they're just a stand-up family, and I think it just goes to show they would do this at any point, at any time, and any of us in environmental health would trust them with our lives. So we really appreciate having Billy on board as an employee.
Tell them what he does.
Pardon me?
Tell folks what Billy does.
Oh, Billy's the environmental services manager. He oversees landfill cleanups. He's constantly in touch with the folks that are working on the Kirtland jet fuel spill, and he does a wonderful job for us in environmental health. But he also it's throughout the community that he takes a sense of responsibility and leadership, and we're so proud of him and Shania. So thanks so much.
Thanks a lot. So what? Yeah, you bet. Thanks, clap for mugs. So at C&M, a lot of late nights, a lot of studying, need coffee, right? Okay.
She's
All right.
actually still in high school.
Yeah,
so
high school at
She's a
CNN.
senior.
Oh, you're in high school taking classes at C&M.
Yeah.
Wow, that's fantastic. We actually have we have a whole program called Mission Graduate in Albuquerque, where we're trying to add 60,000 college graduates in Albuquerque between now and the year 2020. So I think we have 59,999 to go. So good luck.
Save me a spot.
So yeah, I'll save you a spot. So good luck to you, and we appreciate that. We also have a certificate for each of you that basically just says this is a Samaritan Award, and it's a certificate of appreciation on behalf of the citizens of Albuquerque. So
Thank you.
way to be a great example in our community. And you want to introduce Mom?
Sure. This is my wife, Brenda.
Yeah. So
24 years married. So.
yeah. Congratulations to you. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.